Welcome to Purpose and Passion with Raina Carrillo. That is I. I hope you guys are excited about today as much as I am. I'm excited because I have Diana Ramos, owner of Dog Haus in Burbank, right?
Yes.
I was looking at it and I was thinking to myself, I said, that is a bougie hot dog. I can imagine they're beautiful. They look so beautiful and decorated. I can just imagine they're delicious.
They're so good. Not because I own one, but they are so good. It's a franchise. There's a bunch of them, but the one that I own is the one in Burbank, and it's right across the street from Warner Brothers Studios. So if you ever want to come, please do so.
I sure will. I'm gonna pay a visit to eat some. That's a beautiful hot dog. I'm used to regular hot dog, right? Yeah. But that one was like very beautiful. It was decorated. Everything was just so fancy. I love it.
Thank you.
And today our topic will be a spiritual awakening. So you guys will hear that part later in our segment. But Ms. Diana, I'm grateful that you're here. Our mutual friend connected us, and I'm excited to hear your story. I love definitely interviewing entrepreneur women and hearing your story. You know what I mean? Because there's a story behind it. So take us and the viewers through, where your parents are from, where you grew up, how was, childhood, how was teenage years for you, things of that nature.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me. I'm excited to be here too. So I was born in Mexico. I came here when I was about, I want to say like 4 years old. And I grew up in Highland Park, been there all my life. And that's pretty much it. Like everything I did was always in Highland Park. I went to Franklin High School,
Yes.
Burbank Junior High. So that's pretty much what I've been doing. In my later years, I used to own a barbershop in my 20s for many years. So pretty much I know a lot of people in Highland Park because I've been there.
That makes me think about the avenues.
Yes.
Yes, because I used to do gang intervention over there. Yeah, for an Aztec Rising, the nonprofit. Yes, so I know the avenues very well. And then I also know Burbank. Burbank is totally different from the avenues.
1,000%.
Yes, they have a hotel there that I've been wanting to go. It's so beautiful. It doesn't even look like it belongs in California.
In Burbank?
Yes, it's in Burbank. I'm going to have to figure that out. But I know it is because I see it. I screenshot the picture in the hotel and I was like, I need to go there one day. But yeah, I used to party back in the days in Burbank in the 90s and the early 2000s.
Oh, nice.
Nice area. It really is.
Yeah, it is. It's a beautiful area.
Yes. So when you graduated from high school, what was your vision and goals after high school?
I really didn't know, but I've always it's so funny. I can't even remember what I posted, and sometimes you do things and you don't even realize that you're doing them. But I had a girlfriend message me and she's like, oh my God, I'm so excited for you. You deserve it. Ever since we were in high school, you were always working and trying to achieve your goals. Yes. So I just always like nice things. Okay. I always like nice things. And when I was a child, when I was a kid, my parents didn't have very much.
Yes.
My parents now, they do very well for themselves. But when I was a kid growing up, we didn't really have much. I even remember when I first got here from Mexico, we slept in the car a few times.
Wow.
And then it's, in MacArthur Park,
yes, I know where that's
we used to stay at all those hotels, motels with so we used to stay there. But my friend in high school, she was like, man, you're always just trying to work and do things. And I just wanted to buy things for myself. And then from there, one thing led to the next. And I just like making money too.
So when you say making money, I'm a Capricorn, so I think about making money because the Capricorn love the finer things in life. But what is your astrology sign? I'm just curious.
I'm an Aries.
Ooh! Yeah, you do like the finer things. Yes, you do. So let the viewers know, how did you get started? Because you said you owned a barbershop, and then what happened after that in order for you to go into your restaurant business?
So I was a barber for so many years. I think from like the time I was like 17 years old, when I was in high school, right after it, I started cutting hair. And I don't think I knew my worth. So I didn't charge that much for like haircuts.
Yes.
And I was not really making any money, you know. It was, I mean, to be honest with you, I was a single mother, and we lived with my parents, but like in their attic. Like I made like a little like your little
bedroom,
studio,
right?
you know. But I was like, this is not the life that I want for my daughter. You know, I get off of work, I'm working all day. We go home like at 8 p.m. and then she has to go to bed and then school the next day.
Yes.
So I just knew that I wanted something like better. So there was this one guy, I used to cut his hair, and for like maybe like 2 to 3 years, he would talk about this place called Dog Haus that he worked at.
Oh, wow.
And he was like, oh, you should come sometime. The food is so good. You need to come when we open up. There's always like a line out the door. Like, you just come sometime. And I was like, okay, whatever. I never went, but he would like, every time he talked about it, it was just nothing but great things and how busy they were and how much that they were making a lot of money. So, you know, there came a point in my life where I was just like tired of everything that I was doing.
Yes.
And I had bought a house in Highland Park years prior, and it was just, I never even wanted to buy that house. My mom kind of just forced me to buy it. But if you know Highland Park, the property value went up a lot out of nowhere.
Yes,
so I had bought the house, you know, very inexpensive, and it went up. So I had equity. So I said, you know, whenever something comes up, I'm going to just, you know, I need to do something new, you know. And so one day he comes in and I'm cutting his hair and he's like, oh, now the owners are going to do so much more money. They're going to do so well. He's like, they're going public now. And I was like, well, what is that? I didn't even know.
Public?
Yeah. He's like, oh, they're franchising now. It's, you know, they're opening to the public so that they could buy it. They're going to be a franchise now. And he was just like saying how it was going to be so good. And he probably never thought that I would even
think about going into business. Yes.
So then he left, and that was probably like on a Thursday or something. By like Monday, or like not even a week, I had set up an appointment with like the owners of the franchise, and I was the first person to buy into the franchise.
Wow. So you were the first person. Wow. How amazing. A woman, you know what I mean? Latina, you know? Wow, that's pretty awesome.
Thank you.
So how old were you when you
I must have
got
been
into business?
You know what? I must have been probably like 27, 28 around the time. I'm 38 now.
Yeah.
I must have been like, you know, 28. I've been open for like 7 years now.
Which is good.
Thank you. And it took me like, like maybe, I must have been like 27.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. At 27, I didn't even have my life together. So that's good that, you know, you talk about how you're young and, you know, and then you were saying you were a single mom. How old were you when you had your baby?
I was 23.
Okay, so no, you weren't very, very young.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it was a lot of responsibility, right?
Yeah. Well, now that I'm 38, now I'm like, dude, 20 something, you're like still so young.
Yes,
you know?
yes. Trying to figure everything out. But look how awesome it is, because I'm assuming your strong why would be your child.
Yes,
you know
for
what I mean?
sure.
Yeah, so it would be your strong why would be your child, and then having that opportunity. So when you purchased your house, you didn't sell it; you just pulled money out, right, to start your
yes,
business.
I still have it. Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Because it's worth a lot of money. I know that for sure. The avenues, like sometimes people think of it like, you know, it's the hood, because we know that the inskirts of it, but the outskirts of the avenues in Highland Park are some nice homes.
Yeah.
Like I've been there, like I said.
Oh, Highland Park is really nice now.
Yeah.
They have, I mean, then afterwards, my mom sold me a home, and that's where I live now. And I remodeled it, and it's very beautiful. There's so many beautiful houses, and the property value there is just so expensive.
Well, I know something about Aries is when they are decorating, they decorate. So I can just imagine how your house looks. You know, it's beautiful, you know? So that's one thing I do know. And so now that you have your business, I remember our mutual friend, Myra, was talking about the accident that was pretty much a near-death experience. So was that before the business or after?
This was way after the business. So let me take it back. I forgot the most important part of when I started with the Dog Haus. I'm so sorry. So, I knew that I wanted more, and, it was hard for me at the time. And
yes.
I was at the lowest point in my life. I was just very unhappy. I hated my life. I was very depressed. And, in desperation, one day I said, you know what, God, I'm so sorry that I left you for so many years. I'm sorry that I haven't been praying, and please forgive me. I need you. Please take me back. I just need you in my life. I'll do anything. I just need you. I don't know what to do. Yes. Please change my life. And, honestly, that's when it all happened. It was so insane. From that point, I got the restaurant, I got a condo. My everything just kind of blew up, but it was just all from me telling God, you know what, I'm sorry, please forgive me, take me back. And, I got also very heavy into reading. So then I started doing, a lot of everything was just pointing to just be appreciate what you have. So I went from not even liking that house to oh my God, I love this. I love that house, the one that I had bought.
Yes.
And that was the house that got me, the restaurant, because that's where I pulled out money to be able to build it.
Wow. So what was, if it's not, everything is deep when you're talking about God, you know what I mean? But if you want to share, because you mentioned the lowest point, one of your lowest points, what was one of the lowest points that you can share with us?
I was just very depressed. I was super depressed. I would get home and honestly, I would sit on a couch for 5 hours just looking at and time would go by, and I would just look at the clock. There's more, but I'm not really ready to talk about it. It's not drugs, but I had other things in my life going on, and it was just, honestly, it was just hard.
So that was the lowest point, and that's fine, because I don't, I always tell people you share what you can, and when, if you're ready, if you're not, we all understand, right? Yeah. We all understand, especially myself. And so after that, was it an accident?
So then after that, I got the Dog Haus, and, I kept on working and everything. And a year and a half ago, right before the accident, I had been telling God, dude, I just want my life to change. Everything is very repetitive, Yes. I'm very grateful for everything that I have, but just inside, I just feel like every day I just go to work, come home, go out on the weekends, come home, spend time with my, my kids, come home, And I think, now that I know everything that I know, I think the accident was God just changing my life. Because it was a terrible accident. It was...
Bring us to that day.
It was a year and a half ago. Mm-hmm. My fiance and I, we were driving back from dinner. We had gone to Mastro's. He had taken out one of his clients. And we were just driving home, and we're just talking, like this. And then out of nowhere, we just 2 seconds later, our body was just in so much pain. So it was a drunk driver. He was drunk and on drugs. He hit us head on. So
was that in Malibu or?
On La Cienega.
La Cienega. Okay. Yes. Now I know.
So he hit us head on, 70 miles per hour.
Oh.
And it was all on my side. So I was in the hospital for about a week. I had to have surgery. The impact was so hard that, I had a hole in my small intestine or somewhere. I don't even know where. But I had glass inside my underwear when they, when the ambulance took me. Yes. My bra, they're the Victoria's Secret ones, the hard ones.
Yes.
My bra had ripped in half. Like, that's how, like,
hard the impact was.
Yes. I was in bed for months. Like, I mean, I could get up to go to the bathroom and like walk a little bit, but I was in bed for months. And it was a month before the pandemic hit. So it was worse for me because the doctors wouldn't even see you afterwards,
Yes.
Like, I'm grateful that it happened right before because they were able to give me the attention that I needed when the accident happened, but then I wasn't able to get the aftercare that I needed.
Yes.
So my recovery was a little bit harder, I feel. And so when it happened, I was going to church all the time. I'm always reading, and I'm always reading the Bible, and I'm always like doing that. But then they closed church, and I wasn't really, I went from going to church twice a week. I would go to the Catholic one on Wednesdays, Christian one on Sundays. So I went from doing that to like not being able to go to church because they had closed everything. I was still like reading, the Bible and just,
But it wasn't fulfilling you.
It wasn't fulfilling me because I wasn't going to church. And granted, they did have the online, but
it was different.
It was different, and I didn't do it. I should have, and I didn't. And while I was still, praying and being heavy again with God, and the accident happened, I was peaceful. I was fine. I was in pain, but I was like, it's okay. This is okay. The pandemic hit. I'm like, at least I could have everybody at home,
Yes, yes.
And then again, I was at my lowest. Like, I had to close down the restaurant because nobody wanted to work.
Yes.
I was in bed. I had just remodeled the house. So literally, I probably had like $6,000 in my bank account, which is nothing if you own a business.
Yes, yes.
So I got really depressed. I got very, very depressed. But, I do feel like God did it for a reason because it did change my life. So fast forward, I don't even know if I should share this because it hasn't happened yet, but it's going to happen.
Put it in the universe, baby girl. Don't be afraid.
So, again, they opened back the church. We started going to church. And again, I had this awakening again. And I said, God, I'm so sorry. I did it again. Like, I know that I'm praying at night, but I'm not as devoted to you as I should be, as I know that I can be. Like, I'm telling you, I used to go to church like twice a week and be, like every night, read the Bible, like do all that stuff, And so I said, I'm really sorry. I'm super depressed. I couldn't work out. Like I just looked different, I felt so ugly. And I just said, please take me back again, like, I'm sorry, please forgive me. And I started to do everything. After the accident, I'm glad I have a friend that I've had for a long time. He was my physical therapist through the pandemic. And he said to me one day, like, hey, if you don't start working out, you're not going to get better. So then I started working out too. And I started heavily again, listening to all the motivational stuff. Came across Steve Harvey. I don't know if you...
He's funny, yeah. He's good and funny at the same time. Steve Harvey, yes.
Did you know he's a motivational speaker?
Kind of. I knew he does like shows and everything, but I don't know that he had his own motivational company or business. But I know that when he shows his videos, they're always motivational. You know what I mean? He
I
talks about his
had
life.
no idea. My daughter had told me about it. About him. She had kind of said his story, and I just figured like, he's a funny guy, whatever.
Yeah, comedian.
So one day, I'm in the midst of all this, apologizing again to God, and going back to church. And I just come across his best motivational like videos, and the first like minutes I was like, whoa, like this is the stuff that I love, like, because I go to church and everything, but I still like to have my drinks on the weekend,
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
And
Jesus turned water into wine, baby girl.
Right? That's what I'm saying. So, and so the way Steve Harvey talks about Jesus and God, and it's the way that I love. Like, he's just the greatest.
Yes.
He's just he's just the greatest, and he loves you. And he just started saying everything that I love, like, you know, to be appreciative. So he took me back to then
Yes.
from like, you know, the barbershop, like time where I was at my lowest point, because I was at my lowest point again.
And it happens.
So then, you know, I don't really tend to ask for God that much. You know, when I pray, I ask for other people. I ask for, you know, for the world, like especially with everything that's going on. Because I just felt like, well, I'm already so blessed. Like, I can't be asking for more. Like, what the hell? You know, what am I I already have everything that I need. Like, so, but, you know, like Steve Harvey started saying, like, hey, if you, anything, like, you have to ask for God. You know, God is a great God. He's a gracious God. He wants to give you, he wants you to have a great life.
Yes, he does.
Ask him for whatever you want, you know? So I was like, I want a bigger house. And I don't want to make it seem like, you know, everything is about money with God.
We live in a world where if you read certain Bible scriptures, especially the book of Job, you know what I mean? Job went through hell with Lucifer, right?
Yeah.
And God allowed it. A lot of people still ask that question. Why did God allow it? You know, but he allowed it. He says you can do everything to him, but kill him, right? His family was taken away. Everything was taken away from him, to the point where I even put myself in that position, and I'm just like, wow. Like, I don't know if I could be like Job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But he stayed loyal to the Lord through the whole process, and God gave him abundance. I can't say a lot. Some Christians make it seem that God doesn't bless people with abundance, okay, with material things. But if you look in the Bible, he does. And so when you ask for God to give you a bigger house, some Christians will make you feel like, no,
Yes.
like there's two things. You either have everything on earth, but you won't have it in heaven. Or you won't have it on earth,
But you'll have it
in heaven. No. The God that I serve and what I read in the scriptures in the Bible, I know for a fact that I can have it here on earth and I can have it in heaven. That's the God that I serve.
Oh, I love that.
Yes, you know, so that's how I feel. So, baby girl, if there's something that you desire and you want, you speak to him. You know, he gave us, and the Bible says he gave us authority and a dominion. And when I write goals down, I write the goal that I want, right? Whether it's like, I want a Bentley, right? And then I find a scripture from the Bible to connect with it.
Okay.
And I hold, not in disrespect, but I hold God accountable to that verse of the Bible. Like, God, you said this in the Bible. So I want this because you said this. And you gave me power and authority. So you're like my father. So I respect you. But this is what you said I can have with this verse. And that's how I started to do things besides the manifestation. You know what I mean? I find scriptures and I say my goal and I align them together. And so, you know, in the future, my dream home is in Playa del Rey. And it's a beautiful home. I mean, beautiful. I marked my hand and printed it. That house, I think it was 1997. And I said, Lord, when I receive this house, I want to go to school to be a prophet, because I have a spiritual gift that God has given me, but I want to become a prophet. And I want to be able to use that talent that God has given me so then I can help people. So just imagine people broken, depressed, because depression is hard. Depression is not from the Lord. It's from the devil. You know what I mean? He gets into that mind to the point where you want to commit suicide. Or an example of a person getting an abortion, right? And they say, God, sorry, I got an abortion. And then they do it again. And God, I'm so sorry. I don't know how many times. God does not punish his children.
I agree.
You know, especially if you ask for forgiveness. We're not perfect, you know? And that's a whole nother story with the angels and versus the humans. It's like, oh my God, this is a whole nother spiritual world. But I do want to be able to live in this beautiful home and help people, because a lot of people don't know their purpose on earth, right? So when you pass by a cemetery, people's dreams are buried with them. You know what I mean? People's dreams are buried with them. I have a lot of friends in my life that are gone where they never lived out their life. You know what I mean? No purpose. And so it goes for me where I'm just like, man, God is placing all these amazing people in my life. And I held on to that dream running for mayor of Inglewood. And now I'm finally doing it.
Congratulations.
Taking action.
So
Thank you so
exciting.
much.
So happy for you.
So hearing you, saying, I can feel a lot of guilt spiritually with you right now. And that'll be a whole nother subject after this show. Because I want to tell you, it's okay. You know what I mean? It's okay that, whatever you went through in the past, it's okay. I don't want you to look at God that he's an angry God. He's a loving God too.
Yes, he is.
Yes. So after you finished, healing and doing the work, working back out, working out, sorry. Then what was, how was life after that? And currently, you know what I mean?
Now I am, I would say I'm 90% better.
Okay. That's good.
It was so bad. I couldn't even speak. It was difficult for me to finish a sentence. Really bad short-term memory. Mm-hmm. I remember I spoke to a neurologist on the phone because again I couldn't go see them. And he said, I'm gonna say 5 words to you and you have to repeat them. And all I remember is there were 3-letter words. So he said sun, 3 to 4 letter words. Mm-hmm. Sun, tree, fun, house, and a different one. But he would say them and I couldn't repeat them.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, I don't know what you said. And then he would say them again. I'm going to say them again. So then finally, and I was like, shoot. But he's like, I think you might have had a concussion. So if it doesn't go away, and he gave me a period of time, mm-hmm. He's like, then, let's revisit that. I just haven't wanted to go back to the doctor because I'm so scared now, to get everything checked. Yes. So I'm still healing, but I'm a lot better now. My speech has gotten better.
You look,
my memory
you're
has
doing
gotten
good
better.
to me right now.
Thank you.
Me right now. Yes.
Thank you. But I wanted to finish what I was talking to you about.
Okay, go ahead. I'm so sorry.
No. It's fine. So Steve Harvey was saying you have to ask. So I said, you know what, God, I want a bigger house.
Yes.
I love homes ever since my most beautiful dreams. Everybody has beautiful dreams.
Yes.
My most beautiful dreams that I enjoy the most are houses where I'll just go to these beautiful houses. And you know what? They're never really my houses. They're just now that I think about it, they're just beautiful houses. But, so Steve Harvey started saying, and you have to do a vision board.
Yes.
And I've never done a vision board. I thought that was so dumb, but he's you must make a vision board. So I said, okay. I never made the vision board because I didn't know how I wanted the house to be exactly. Mm-hmm. I know that the house that I want is a white house and it has black windows. And I don't know how I want the landscaping to be just yet. Mm-hmm. And I don't know in what area I want it to be. So, Steve Harvey says, then another thing, he's like, if God's putting it in your imagination, it's because he wants you to have it. Yes. If he puts it in your dreams, it's because he wants you to have it. It's God telling you, you need this. I'm going to give this to you. So maybe a few weeks ago, I had a dream about this house that it was it was a white house mm-hmm. with black windows. The floor was all messed up and it didn't really have any landscaping. Mm-hmm. But I was inside the house and it had the weirdest layout. The inside of the house was so weird.
Yes.
But I was just really happy. I was like, I don't care. It's just,
it's my white house.
It's I love this house because I love the area that it was in. Mm-hmm. So, that was a dream. Lately, I've been finding they say everybody has God gives you signs. Yes. And everybody has their sign. My sign always is money on the floor, pennies on the floor. So every time some people laugh when I see a penny or any change, I'll pick it up. And no matter how dirty it is, I'll pick it up, I'll bless it, and I'll keep it.
Yes.
Right before I got the restaurant, mm-hmm. I was finding a lot of change on the floor, a lot of quarters, dimes, nickels, dollars even.
Yes.
And I remember telling my friends, and I was at a barbershop, so all we would do was make fun of each other.
Yes.
So I was telling my friends, like, hey guys, I'm gonna make so much money because like I've been finding change everywhere. Sure enough was when I got the restaurant, I got, you know, like I got some properties and, you know, so now it happened to me again. I was finding again, like, and I was like scared. I told my sister, my fiance, my daughter, I'm like, you know what? I'm so nervous because I know something big is going to happen.
Yes,
I don't like something big is coming. It's happening to me again.
And don't be scared.
So fast forward, I was on Instagram and one of my friends posted, he just became a real estate agent and he's like, I am in escrow right now. I'm selling this house in Beverly Hills for 1.5.
Okay.
And I was like, Matt, I messaged him right away and I said, Matt, what the hell, 1.5 in Beverly Hills? Like, what do you mean? I was like, I thought that they would start like at minimum $3-4 million, whatever.
Yes.
And I was like, dude, I could afford this, you know?
Yes,
like,
yes.
So I messaged him and I didn't say if the house goes out of escrow. I said, when the house falls out of escrow, let me know. So then I was like, I was just thinking about it the whole day and I was like, man, like that's my house.
Yes.
It's the house. It's a white house. It has black windows. It literally has no landscaping. And the reason why it's so cheap is because there's something wrong with it. We don't know what it is. So we're in escrow right now and we're figuring out what it is. It doesn't have the certificate of occupancy, which, you know, so to me, that was the floor in my dream. How it was messed up.
Wow.
So I had my fiance call him and I said, babe, please just call him. Cause that's, you know, he talks to him on the phone and I said, we need this house. So he calls him and he's like, hey, this girl's crazy. She says she had a dream about this house. She's saying that when it falls out of escrow, just give us a call. He's like, well, he starts telling us the whole scenario. He's like, but you know, the buyers don't seem too interested. They, you know, it's like a firm and they, you know, like they just don't seem that interested. So if it does, I'll let you know. Next day, I get a phone call. I get a phone call and then he was like, they're out. And I was like, okay, we'll be there in an hour.
Awesome.
So we go in an hour and we go, you know, and we see it and it has the funniest like layout. It's
like your dream, right?
It was just weird. I mean, it was going to have to be remodeled, but it's, you know, so then after we get there and he's like, but don't get too excited, you know, because the guys are back in, like you know, they know that it's a good deal. So he's like, but write a letter, show proof of funds, you know, and so the next day he's like, okay, they're out. We send him the contract and then I send the deposit and we're in escrow right now.
That's a blessing. That is a blessing. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's big to me because I'm like, man,
you dreamt it. Come on now.
Not just that, but man, in Beverly Hills, like I would never I could ever like live there, afford even, you know, like doing well at the restaurant. I was like, that is just like so expensive, you know?
Yeah,
so I'm
Highland
like,
Park to Beverly Hills, baby girl. Hey, it is what it is. There's nothing wrong with that.
And it's a big house too. It's not a little house.
Oh my God. Well, thank you for sharing your story. I love dreaming and seeing things happen. I've had those a couple of times, but thank you for sharing your story with purpose and passion with myself, Raina Carrillo. I hope you guys enjoyed our interview today. It was exciting. I love her concepts, her stories, and everything like that. And I hope you were inspired by it as well. Until then, see you next time. Bye.
Glutathione is a big word. It's the body's own master antioxidant. It's a scavenger for free radical, bacteria, and viruses. There are no products in the market with the ingredient NASET. NASET increases the production of glutathione that's in our body already to strengthen and enhance our immune system, elevate sense of well-being, support muscle strength and endurance, cognitive function, and liver support. It helps with increased energy and blood sugar regulation. Get your bottle of GSH Plus from www.salvationnutra.com.